Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swaminati Namni Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayani Gaurakatha Damdaya Nagagram Tadni Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvisesh Sunyavadi Paschat Deshtarni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so and he started in the beginning of the chapter about pure devotional service, right? How action and inaction, how how we got to do, how even while working we can act in such a way that we don't get karma, and how by making everything Brahman, by offering everything to Krishna. So this is the topmost transcendental platform. Then he also mentions about, there are other people who do other types of sacrifices, which also come, which will take you towards. So other types of sacrifices approved by the Vedas. It's all coming from the Vedas only to suit different types of people. So one is, we saw sacrifices of the senses. What is the sacrifice of the senses? Senses want sense gratification. If you have a lot of money, then you can enjoy with so many things. But instead, you're sacrificing some part of it for pleasing, doing yajna, sacrifice to the devas. But this is not perfect sacrifice, because even this is quite praiseworthy, because you have faith in the devatas and you're sacrificing something for a future enjoyment, better enjoyment. That is sacrifice of the senses. Then of the mind, that is the yogis, right? They control the mind by withdrawing all the senses, and the breathing also they control, so that, and they offer it to the mind. So the mind is controlled through all this. That is one sacrifice, because instead of just using the senses for sense gratification, they are withdrawing it and engaging in, the mind is very controlled and still without thinking anything. Then the other sacrifices of the intelligence, studying all the Shastras and Vedas and everything. And then because you get knowledge, then you renounce everything. And that is what the Jnanis do. Sacrifice, they take sannyas. So to suit different types of people, so many different types of sacrifices are mentioned. Aimed, but all of them are aimed at attaining material benefits. For those who sacrifice of the senses is for material benefits. Brahman realization, if you are doing jnana, that is, you're studying and renouncing and all that, you get Brahman realization. Paramatma realization is of the yogis. So these are the different types. Okay, can we go to the next? Next slide, please. So different types of sacrifices born of different types of work, because all these sacrifices are not like the pure devotional service, which was told by Krishna, that you simply do it for my satisfaction, not for anything else, not so that you can become rich and you can go to the heavenly planets, or that you want to merge, you want liberation, or you want to get mystic powers. Through yoga, before you see the Paramatma, you also get mystic powers, and some people are attracted by that also. So these are all different types of karma, because it's got a material desires. That is why there is a verse which says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Shanta. So bhukti means material enjoyment. Those who desire bhukti or material enjoyment, bhukti, mukti or liberation, Siddhi. Siddhis are the yogis who get different material perfections. They can become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. They can fly on the air. They can get whatever they want from anywhere. They can change their forms and they can control people. So many siddhis. So bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami. Those who are attached to those things. Sakala ashanta. They're all disturbed because until they get it, they're always anxious. Will I get it? Will I get it? Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama, but he has no desires. Krishna Bhakta is very happy, just, he is happy as a servant of Krishna. Atayeva Shanta. So he's always peaceful. And not only that, he gets all these things also. He has unlimited enjoyment and also knowledge, as well as siddhis also. A pure devotee has all of these. And on top of that, he's not at all disturbed because he's doing everything for pleasing Krishna. So to the devatas of, okay, these are the different types of austerities. To the devatas of worldly possessions for worldly gain, materialists, of severe austerities for mystic powers, of worldly designations for Brahman realizations, impersonalists, of control of the mind, Ashtanga Yoga for Paramatma realization, study of the Vedas for knowledge. But aim of all these sacrifices is sense control and freedom from sinful reactions. Because we are engaged in the senses, we are identifying with the senses, then we have to suffer the reactions. But if you control the senses and you get higher knowledge, then those reactions are nullified. All sacrifices should aim for transcendental knowledge. We can find happiness only through sacrifices because happiness is coming from the soul. And if we are just enjoying with the senses, you cannot understand the soul. That is why all these sacrifices, we get happiness from the spiritual platform. Modern man finds no happiness because he's not at all, he doesn't know even that he's a soul. Okay, can you go to the next slide? So what are the advantages of all these austerities? It helps us in controlling our senses, cleanses sinful reactions, different types for different people. So, you can choose whatever you want. All sacrifices should aim for transcendental knowledge. And we can find happiness only through sacrifices. Modern man finds no happiness, leads to knowledge, liberation, and pure devotional service to Krishna. So if this is the goal, even when we are doing all those things, ultimately, if we want this, then it also leads to knowledge, liberation, and pure devotional service to Krishna. Okay, please go to the next. Now, today's verses are from 34 to 42. And what are we going to see? How to directly get transcendental knowledge. We don't want to go through these indirect means. How to approach a self-realized spiritual master. What are the benefits of that real knowledge? Qualifications required to achieve that knowledge. What happens to the ignorant and faithless? Armed with transcendental knowledge, Arjuna is asked to fight. So this is the last portion of this chapter. We're going to see that. Please go to the next slide. So text 34 is a very important verse. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam yasattva darshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they've seen the truth. So in earlier times, so the Prabhupada is saying the path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. So it's talking about the self-realized soul, okay, like Prabhupada, who was known as Jeptak Swami, and so on. See, in earlier time, the gurus used to be sitting in the forest, okay, in the ashrams, and people had to go and approach them. But in ISKCON, what has happened, it's a worldwide movement. And so there are gurus also traveling and giving their mercy, their association You can ask them questions even through email. So because of technology, also we have this advantage in the modern world that you just have to send them a question and you can connect with them through that also. Nowadays, give lectures and you can hear it live also or recorded messages. So those advantages are there. Apart from that, still you need very kind of how many people can you personally, take care. So he has, every guru has empowered their senior disciples to also speak on their behalf, whatever the guru is saying. Whatever, if something is, much more that only the guru can say, then definitely you can also contact the guru. But all the other preliminary things, they can also teach. So in this way, we have a system in ISKCON that, that way we can have a wider reach. You have the guru also, and you have his disciples also, and, there's Vaishnava association. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So the path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. So that's why we need a bona fide spiritual master who's not fabricating himself, but he is such a spiritual master because he is just repeating what Krishna wants, not his own thinking. That is why it's called bona fide. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. We may think, I myself, no, I will keep thinking, I'll keep speculating, I'll keep arguing. Many people don't want to approach any guru. They say, I myself can figure it out. But they don't realize that they are on the realm of the mind. And the mind is very fickle, it's going here and there. It's not the soul. That is why we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master, because we don't know that we are the soul. And that is why it's saying, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. And how are you supposed to inquire? Inquire from him submissively. That's very important. You go and show off your knowledge. Gurudev, I also know. I figured out like this. What do you think? No. We have to say that I am in total ignorance about my spiritual self. You may be anything in your material field. Maybe you're a great, brilliant person who has passed the best exams and have a great job and all that. But in terms of spiritual knowledge, we are not yet, unless we surrender, we won't get that knowledge. So we have to become very humble and approach him submissively and render service unto him. That is our humility, right? That we are accepting, because spiritual knowledge is passed from the guru to the disciple. When the disciple is very humble, then this guru blesses him. And knowledge is not academic. That I read the book, I know the knowledge. No, it happens because of the blessings of the guru. So that is why it says, you inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they've seen the truth. That is why. Anybody can just read this and, again repeat it. That is not the thing. The importance is to realize it. Realize how I'm a soul and how this is all a fact, how Krishna is a fact, how I can solve all my problems in life, how I should always be surrendered and take shelter of Krishna. That takes some time because we're so attached to material conceptions, so many other things, material life outside, and we are not able to fully have faith in Krishna who is residing within us. So that's why we need the spiritual master who is an external representative of the Paramatma. Imagine, Paramatma sends a qualified person to the sincere seeker. There are many frauds also, and those who want to be cheated, they get cheated. But if one is sincerely seeking Krishna, then Krishna himself arranges that you meet with a bona fide guru. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. So suppose you don't want to serve him, but you just go there and keep asking questions and just theoretically talking. It will remain a theory, that's all. But if you serve, then what happens? By spiritual master's blessings, the Paramatma he's a representative of or expansion of the Paramatma. Paramatma is so pleased that he reveals this knowledge in a devotee's heart. So that is why. Yajñātvāna punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani aseshani rakshyasi atmaniyato mai. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you'll never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So that's why he's saying, Krishna himself is promoting. He's saying, you will get real knowledge from, because he's seen the truth. He's not going to cheat you. If you see the truth, Krishna, then how can you like anything else, right? Krishna will not reveal himself until you surrender. So Prabhupada was such a great personality that he many times, he actually saw Krishna, and he used to converse with him. From time to time, Krishna would come. So he's such an exalted soul. That is why his book is perfect. Whatever he has written, he has based it on the scriptures and writings of other acharyas. But his writing is perfect because he doesn't speculate. And he is saying, you will never fall. If you hear from such a soul, then you'll never again fall into illusion. Because this knowledge, you'll see that everyone is part of the Supreme. Or in other words, that they are mine, that everybody is belonging to Krishna. Right now, we think everybody belongs to me, or rather, I should be dominating everyone, whoever comes under my purview, and we have big ambitions. If I could become the emperor of this whole world, I'll be happiest, so that everybody is under me. So this is the kind of, mentality we have. But when you know the truth, that actually Krishna is the supreme, and he only is got any right to be the king of everyone, and everyone else is working part of him, then we'll become very peaceful. You think, I don't want to dominate. What is there? Nothing. There's so much happiness in serving Krishna. So, for want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion. And therefore, we think that we are separate from Krishna. So that is the reason, because of illusion. Otherwise, Krishna is there. Why we are not able to see him? Because we are covered by illusion. Maya turns us away from Krishna, and then we consider ourselves independent of him. We are, however, eternally Krishna's parts and parcels. We need his shelter and his service. Thus, an elevated soul thinks, I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So that is all there within us. Krishna is there, and we just have to say, oh, Krishna, I'm yours and you are mine. That's all. Then all problems are solved. You can live in this world without any problem because everything belongs to Krishna. That's all we need to understand. We don't have to renounce everything. Only the wrong understanding that something belongs to me. Suppose you go to a bank and you declare, I renounce the whole bank. Everybody laugh at you. What are you saying? The bank doesn't belong to you. So it's as ridiculous like that to say something is mine. Everything is Krishna. So if you understand that, you can live in peace. Whatever Krishna gives, you enjoy and you glorify Krishna. You can be very, very happy and fully protected by him and be in the spiritual energy. So that is the thing we are trying to. So the next verse describes another fruit of transcendental knowledge. First thing is you will understand the truth, right? You'll get the knowledge. Self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So, and then what is the other fruit of transcendental knowledge is going beyond sin. So he's saying, even if you're considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you're situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So because Arjuna is scared now that if I, um, do this war, I mean, I take part in this war and I kill people, I will get sinful reactions. And Krishna is saying, you first have to have knowledge who you are. That is why he gave him knowledge. You're not this body, you're the soul. And just knowing that, even if you're a big sinner, when then even if you're a sinner, when you are got this knowledge, then what happens? You can go beyond it. You can transcend. When you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. And we have seen, I've shared with you about how great criminals, right from in the jails, they've all completely come out of this. All the sinful reactions, even they commit so many murders because they became devotee in the prison. Then they've been pardoned and sent away and they're leading normal lives. Can you imagine? That is the greatness of transcendental knowledge, because they got knowledge, because they met devotees and they ate prasadam and they were reading the books, chanting. So they crossed over the ocean of miseries. Then, what if someone is acting so sinfully? How can his heart become purified? How will he understand? Because if somebody is committing sins, how will he understand this knowledge? Right? How will he become purified? And no, first of all, if he's committing sins, how will he get purified? Right? Only with purification he will understand knowledge. How can sinful people understand, like the criminals, for example, the murderers in the jail? How will they get purified? And how will they understand all this knowledge? And if he has developed that knowledge, how can he act, perfectly? So Krishna is answering these questions in the next few verses. He's saying, as a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Imagine, this transcendental knowledge is so valuable that if we get it, then it burns to all our sins to ashes, just like wood, fire turns firewood to ashes. In the same way, ash means nothing. That's it. It is no longer can be used for anything. So in the same way, all our sinful reactions can be destroyed so that they don't act again. They have no use only, they have no power. And Krishna says, for one whose heart has become purified, I completely destroy whatever karma has already been generated with the exception of his prarabdha karma. So what is prarabdha karma? That is what is already manifest. There are different levels of karma. One is, I may have committed many sinful reactions. And for that, some are already manifest, like the body I've got, I'm wearing a specs, maybe I'm suffering from some illness. All this is prarabdha karma. That you cannot change. Suddenly Krishna cannot change my body and make me like a heavenly being. Nah, that he can't do. That is already there. Other than that, all other reactions he nullifies as soon as I take to transcendental knowledge. So when I understand that I'm not this body, I'm the soul, all the problems go away. No more suffering. Imagine. Transcendental knowledge thus destroys all reactions, both pious and sinful. Or that means even we might want, we don't want to take away pious reactions. We only want sinful reactions. But by taking away pious reactions means that now we are not under karma at all. We are completely under the care of Krishna. So that is very good, right? Why we want to be limited by our meager pious activities. When you're connected to Krishna, that's it. Krishna can do anything for you. So transcendental knowledge that destroys all reactions except the prarabdha karma, such as one's present material body. So this you cannot change. But still, Krishna can remove all the suffering. Okay, we may want, oh, I wish I was this and that. No, whatever I've done, for that I have to take this body. That is there. But other than that, We are connected to Krishna because now we are in transcendental knowledge. Aham Brahmasmi. We know I'm not this body. We're not attached to this body and it's all its desires and all the sinful thoughts and no negativities, everything gone. Because now I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, having prasadam, I'm associating with devotees, and so I understand I'm not this body. So I will do everything, even use my body, everything that Krishna has given me, my house, my whatever, all my talents, my body, all the people, my family, everything for what? Pleasing Krishna. Then no more sins, no more sinful reactions. Krishna now further glorifies transcendental knowledge. Okay. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. One who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So many things come into light. First of all, this transcendental knowledge was very exciting to have. He's saying that it's so sublime and pure. There is nothing so sublime and pure as the transcendental knowledge. So anything pure, will it make us happy or not? How can impure things make us happy? Pure things make us very positive and happy. And it's so sublime. You know, sublime means it's not gross, okay, not sense gratification and all that. It is sublime. It's very spiritual. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. So we know what is mystic, right? Mystic is something out of the ordinary, not material. So mysticism is that something it's beyond. Actually, mystic powers which the yogis have is material, but all whatever spiritual activities we're doing culminates in this transcendental knowledge. Knowledge about Krishna, knowledge who I am, what's my relationship with Krishna. So one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service. So that's very important. It's not just an academic exercise. I keep on reading books, then I'll get no knowledge. No, you have to do devotional service. The practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So one thing we can understand that this knowledge is not just theory. Why should we wait? Why should we even do devotional service if it's just academic knowledge? We just have to read, we learn, okay, this is what it is, and then I have knowledge. I have transcendental knowledge. So now all the reactions should go away. But we have to realize it. We have to come to the platform of soul. Then all reactions go away. So in Kalina means in due course of time. Krishna uses the word Kalina to warn against premature renunciation, simply adopting the outer garb of a sannyasi. No. As Mayavadis, they think that automatically you fix your knowledge and it's free of sin. So Krishna uses the term Kalina to encourage detached work, which truly bestows transcendental knowledge in course of time. Indicates that transcendental knowledge is gradually revealed in the heart of one practicing Nishkam Karma Yoga. By work, not by renouncing work, it manifests. So you see, very important. We have to, it will manifest day by day. How soon it comes depends on our eagerness and Krishna's mercy. But without doing work in the detached way for the pleasure of Krishna, this knowledge will not manifest. Whatever work it may be, it's not that it has to be only if you're a Brahmana doing pujari work and doing yajnas and preaching. No. Suppose you're an administrator, you're a Kshatriya. We know that Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and he also could get this transcendental knowledge. Or even Vaishyas, yes, Vaishyas also, the business people. We have many such people in ISKCON, like Ambarish, Alfred Ford. He belongs to this Ford family. So he's worth millions in dollars. And he is a devotee and he uses all the wealth for promoting Krishna consciousness. So like that, yeah, because his other family members, those who also inherited, they may be biling it away by, starting a lot of places of where, illicit activities like, bars and disco dancers or whatever, big theaters. I mean, they may be spending in all those, sponsoring those things. And here he is sponsoring what? Temples. And the biggest temple of Vedic planetarium, which is there being built in Mayapur, which is a big project, so big. It will be the biggest project the world has ever seen. And it is going to have a planetarium in which all the material world, the different lokas will be shown, and also the spiritual planets. Just imagine, nowhere else nowhere in the world do you have such a planetarium. So it will be hanging like a chandelier, big, huge. And that hall of the TOBP is so huge that 5,000 people can stand and watch at one time. Okay, and the chandelier you see right from hellish planet, Patala Loka, all the lower planetary systems, then the Earth middle planetary systems, all in the form of the planets and the people, how they look there, what they do, everything will be shown. Krishna's different avatars in the spiritual world, everything, so that somebody goes there, they can understand it. And if you see it in 3D, you can understand, and your faith will increase. So such a big, wonderful project is going on. So then it'll become very easy for us to, to get transcendental knowledge by chanting. And so by doing work, whatever work we are doing, we should do it, I mean, in Kalau Shudra Sambhava, in Kali Yuga, most of everybody is working for his master. And so doesn't come under Brahmanical Kshatriya. Okay, there are a few Kshatriyas who are in the, who are in the administration, government, and also especially those who are fighting armed forces. Vaishyas, you have some people, because Vaishyas are independent in their livelihood. But most of the people are working for these Vaishyas or working for the government or working for Brahmanas. So they are all Shudras. They are Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. Though they may be highly intelligent, that is all fine. They may have a lot of money, but job-wise, nature-wise, it is Shudra. But it doesn't matter. If we work in a detached way for the pleasure of Krishna, we can also get transcendental knowledge. It doesn't depend upon what work we do, what varna we are. No. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Yes, we want that, isn't it? Imagine you're always happy and no trouble, I mean, no misery at all. You don't get disturbed, you don't get angry, don't have any envy. You feel very nicely, you feel this very kind and loving to everyone. We want that consciousness, right? But we are disturbed by so many things because our mind is colored with different kinds of perceptions, attachments, and so on. But a faithful man who's dedicated to transcendental knowledge, so we should want this. I mean, we know it theoretically, but we're dedicated. We want to also assimilate it, and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. So we gradually, by doing devotional service, more and more our senses become subdued. It's very natural. We are not like yogis and jnanis who forcibly, going away, running away from everything. That is still superficial. That means we are very attached. That's why we're running away somewhere. Otherwise, if you see it, oh, I'm disturbed. But this knowledge, what happens as we do devotional service, you're getting so much happiness within that even when you're seeing everything, you're not disturbed. That is actual renunciation, right? Even if you're in the midst of everything, you're not disturbed. That is real renunciation. Running away and going into the forest, then maybe if you come back once, from the forest, if you come here again, you may be attracted. So that is why, what are the qualifications for a man needs to attain transcendental knowledge? He must be faithful, dedicated, and sense-controlled. He works faithfully and knows that his detached work will bring transcendental knowledge and the supreme spiritual peace. Without faith, as Krishna explains below, peace is unobtainable. So if you want peace, you have to do this. What is that? We should be faithful. Faithful man. We have full faith. Yeah, Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, I believe in it. So, types of people who do not get God consciousness. That's the next one we'll be doing. But here we are talking about the faithful person. What are all the things that he should do? He should be faithful, is dedicated to transcendental knowledge, and sense controlled, subdues his sense controlled. He works faithfully and knows that his detached work will get him transcendental knowledge. So work is also connected with our knowledge. Okay. And ultimately it will give us the supreme spiritual peace, which is liberation, no suffering. But without faith, this is not obtainable. Yeah, please go to the next. Okay. Our benefits of this knowledge cuts our bodily illusion and ignorance, can understand that we are part of Krishna, that everyone and everything is situated in Krishna, that Krishna is our master and we are his servants, burns away all our karmas except the matured reactions like the current body, it engages us in devotional service, and we realize that this knowledge is in the heart. This knowledge in the heart, in our own hearts, it is there, and we quickly attain supreme spiritual peace. So initially, the knowledge is outside and we're trying to gain it. And afterwards, we'll see the knowledge is within me only, because you're realizing it. Soul has already got knowledge. Now, because we are not realizing that we're a soul, we have to learn it from outside through our mind and this thing. And the minute the soul, you act on the platform of the soul, then all the knowledge will be within you. Okay, then you get supreme spiritual peace. Yes, can you go to the next slide? Now, Krishna says, 3 types of people who do not get God consciousness, but ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So, he is talking about 3 types of people who do not attain God consciousness. Everyone else, if they have attained, they go to the guru and then they do this, they engage in working without attachment, they will get transcendental knowledge. Everyone. But some people don't get. Who are those? Those who are faithless, ignorant and faithless persons who doubt. They think, oh, I don't believe in the scriptures, right? And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of God. It's Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. And out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. So we should, if at all, we can make progress in spiritual life only we have some faith. Because we have faith, that's why we have come. And we are trying to get this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, and we're trying to associate with devotees, sadhu sangha. That's the first. First is Shraddha. Because you have Shraddha, then you do sadhu sangha. Then you agree to do bhajana kriya, which is practices. So that is why he's saying, ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. So the scriptures are very, very important. So there are three types. And then he says difference between the faithless and the doubtful persons. First, the ignorant. Ignorant is they don't have knowledge. The faithless and the doubtful. Three types of people. They do not get God consciousness. What is that? First, because of
Rangoli Mataji, please mute Shivna. Okay.
So the ignorant are foolish like animals. That means they think just eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's all happiness. There's nothing beyond that. Those are ignorant. And the faithless are, they have knowledge of Shastra, but they see that many people are giving different interpretations, and so they don't have faith at all. And so they may have knowledge of the Shastras. The Mudas or the foolish, they don't know only Shastras, so they are in ignorance. And then these people, faithless people, they know the Shastras, but still they have not come to any conclusion because there are so many different opinions. And the Shastras themselves seem to be contradictory. So unless you have a proper guru, you cannot understand just by reading Shastras. Then the third type of people are the doubtful people. They are, these people may have some faith, but they are swayed by doubt. Okay, maybe this system works, but maybe for me it won't work. Right? We may also sometimes, sometimes we are finding some difficulty, so many problems, obstacles, and say, oh, maybe it won't work for me. That is wrong. You should not have, you should have. So the doubtful, they have some faith, but they doubt that Shastra will definitely get results. Some people, many people believe in God, but they don't believe in Shastras. I don't want to follow anything. I myself will become close to God. I know what to do. So that is also doubting. So they thus follow, but without faith, hope, and optimism. Even if we are struggling in our spiritual life, even if we find no time, so many obstacles, but still, we should have faith that somehow Krishna will help me. I'll keep praying to him. So if you keep doubting, on the other hand, you'll be always negative, right? So many people who doubt scriptures, who doubt about God, they're always cynical, right? They'll always be critical. They'll find fault. And even if somebody is doing a lot of services, they'll try to find fault. Oh, this person, he must be having some material motivation. Always cynical, negative. How will they be happy, right? They are, unless you have something to look up to, something which is perfect. And that gives us strength, isn't it? If you think that nobody is perfect, there is no God, then I don't believe in anything, then how will you be happy? You'll always be pessimistic. You'll think all negative things. So that is why then you will not get devotional service. Actually, there are only 2 verses more, but I'll have to stop today. We'll do that. We'll do a recap of what we learned, because these verses are also very, very important, all about transcendental knowledge. So we'll recap this and finish the 2 verses, and then we go to the chapter 5 also. Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Again, Krishna has to explain because Arjuna is still confused. So again, we'll see that in chapter 5. So in this way, all your doubts can be, clarified. Krishna wants to make it very, very clear what is the process of getting transcendental knowledge, how to achieve him. So that's why he's again telling. Okay, I'll stop now. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, after that, we go to quiz. Mataji, if I'm wrong, but why didn't Krishna save the devotees who were attacked during the Navratri festival last year? What happened in the Navratri festival?
I think if I'm not wrong, it was ISKCON temple which was attacked, Mataji. Many idols were destroyed. One devotee was killed also in that attack.
In Bangladesh, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Idols were not destroyed. Prabhupada's deity was there and a devotee protected. And while trying to protect Prabhupada, he got killed. Isn't it? That is what happened. So, yeah, pardon? Okay, this devotee, who, I mean, he was not even a full-time devotee, he was living outside. He was not even someone who had given up all his job and sitting in the, serving in the temple, but he was living outside and he had gone and see his advancement. This is faith. This is transcendental knowledge. So he understood that, Krishna is for real and these people are attacking the temple and I'm going to use my body and my everything for protecting the temple. And he gave up his life. Then where his destination would be. He would have gone back to, he must be with Krishna now. So he is not a loser. So Krishna has got his plan how to take different people back to Godhead. And he's glorified him. That devotee died in a most glorious way. Of course, he was young, and that is very sad. He was a young boy, and his family also, I think he was a breadwinner. So all that is there. But somehow Krishna will take care of the family also. But ultimately, it's not that Krishna did not protect. He had a higher, we are only thinking of what is happening here. But Krishna has got a bigger plan. That this is just an illusory, temporary thing. He wants us to take us back home, back to Godhead. So whatever he does, we should see it from that perspective. Then we'll not be disturbed. Yeah, and he protected the temple also. Beyond that, okay, only that they couldn't do anything, and then then they were chased away, right? But and then the whole world protested against that. After that, see, because there were so many, I mean, they were attacking constantly all these Durga mantaps which were put up. So many people were being harassed. And then actually they were attacking the Durga pujas and done by the Hindus. And ISKCON, somehow they also decided to attack ISKCON. And because they attacked ISKCON and this boy also gave up his life, and then whole of ISKCON took a stand that we are going to protest, we're going to march and show that, that this is not okay. I mean, against this kind of terrorist attack and all that. So when they did that, it became a worldwide thing. Everybody took notice of it. And then the violence stopped after that. Otherwise, they were just randomly attacking Hindu temples. So Krishna has got many things, purpose. And he died defending Krishna, defending his pure devotees, Vigraha, the temple, and so on. Definitely, he must be there in the spiritual world now with Krishna. So Krishna, he definitely protects the devotees here, and some of them, he takes them back. So both are protection. He protected the devotees also because they were all inside and all of them never got any, nothing happened to them.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that was my doubt, Mataji. Really heart-touching. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Utkarshini Mataji, you'll ask some questions.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandut Pranam. Hare Krishna to all devotees. Yes, for today, Mataji firstly spoke about.
You can come on video.
Okay, sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Today, Mataji firstly spoke about different sacrifices which will be approved by the Vedas. So, can you all mention that? What are the types of sacrifices The slideshow was also shown.
Dravya Yajna, Yoga Yajna, and I'm not sure of the other one, Mataji.
Yeah, it's about a gross and
Dravya Yajna, Tapo Yajna, and Yoga Yajna.
okay, which involves your body.
Yeah, one is to
To suit a different
karma,
types of people.
jnana, and yoga, 3 types, and also austerity.
Austerities.
So one is material, giving up of material, material things, which is like austerity for the senses. Then
Mind, intelligence.
Yeah, mind is by this thing, yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, you're controlling the mind through the senses and breathing, and jnana.
Reading, shastras, intelligence.
Through intelligence, yeah. And also mystic powers, I mean, through doing austerity, tapo yajna also.
Yeah, by doing all this again, we'll be getting what? Is it?
The goal has to be transcendental knowledge, going towards that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, you asked me that. Yes, sorry.
I kept
I
quiet.
forgot.
Okay, what is the aim of all sacrifices?
Transcendental knowledge.
Yes. Yeah, sense control and freedom from our sinful reactions.
Yes, transcendental knowledge. The goal is transcendental knowledge.
Knowledge. Okay. So how to get this transcendental knowledge directly? Sorry, how do you approach a guru? One particular shloka which is very, very important. Mataji did recite it. How do you approach a guru for the transcendental knowledge? And can you mention the shloka if possible?
In a surrendering way, Mataji, we shouldn't show off with the guru like you already have knowledge. You should act like you don't know anything. So you're my everything. So you should give me all the knowledge. That's the mindset you should have.
Yes. Correct, Mataji. Tadvidi Pradiptad. Yeah, 4.34. The shloka. Mataji did mention that. Tadvidi Pradipadena Pariprashnena Sevaya. Upadeshayanti Te Gnana Gnana Tattva Darshinaha. So we have to be very submissive and surrendered. Yes. Mataji, okay, no, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mataji gave an example telling you can go to a bank and say, oh, the whole lot of money is yours. But it's not true and it's like a joke. So what exactly she meant to say this, what she wanted to tell through this example? You know for sure that the bank money is not yours.
Hare Krishna, it's about the renunciation. So Mataji here gave us the explanation of the renunciation. Nothing belongs to us. It's everything that is belonging is to Krishna. And it's same way we are going and telling the bank I'm leaving the bank. Same way, nothing belongs to it. It's already belonged to Krishna. There is no need of renunciation. Attain this transcendental knowledge of Krishna and enjoy whatever Krishna is giving.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, how can sinful people understand that they're getting purified?
Could you repeat, Mataji?
How can a sinful person, he can understand that his karmas is being burnt? Oh, I'm telling that. Okay. How will he understand that?
So can I tell, Mataji?
Yes, please.
Transcendental knowledge, right? How they can get it.
How can
Because even sinful people,
Even
How?
sinful people, how?
So, how's the sinful people will get the transcendental knowledge? Is that the question?
Yeah, how can sinful people understand that they are getting purified?
No, no.
So,
How can they understand transcendental knowledge?
Transcendental
Because if
knowledge.
you're sinful, it's difficult. No, you're
Difficult.
in ignorance.
You get the
So-
knowledge outside, but in what platform will you really understand? Yes. This is-
transcendental knowledge can be achieved by he should be faithful, dedicated, he should control all his senses, and he should do all his work detachfully. Then he will be able to achieve this transcendental knowledge. And once the transcendental knowledge is achieved, all the bad karmas, sinful reactions will be burned like wood in the ashes. Once the wood is burned, it
Excellent.
turns into ashes. Same way, his sinful karmas will also get burnt. So it is connected.
Yes, on the
Excellent.
platform also.
Very good.
Yes. Okay. Okay, 3 kinds of people who do not get that God consciousness.
Ignorant, faithless, and the doubters do not attain God consciousness, Mataji.
Yeah. Can you little explain each one? Just 1 or 2 sentences.
Ignorant is the person, he doesn't want to know the true story. He just says, yes, I know everything. And so he's ignorant. He doesn't want to learn the Shastras and scriptures. Faithless is a person who says that there's no God, so and there's no religion, I don't want to learn anything. And doubters is they doubt the Shastras, Mataji. They doubt their Guru.
Mataji, faithless, he knows that Shastra is there, right, Mataji?
Yeah, he knows the Shastras also,
Hmm.
but he doesn't believe the Shastras fully. He doesn't believe that they are perfect. So he doubts, even though, I mean, he doesn't have complete faith.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. And the third one, she said,
Ignorant, the faithless, and doubt.
ah, yeah, doubt also. Maybe it doesn't apply. We think, okay, Shastras may be true, but maybe for me it won't apply. We doubt every time. No. So,
Yes, Mataji. That's all, Mataji.
thank you very much, Kashi Matji.
Thank you, Mataji.
And thank you for all your answering.